Okay, 3, 2, 1 prayer. Pray for the salvation of 3 people, pray for the rededication of 2 people, and then pray for 1 leader of influence. Person of influence. You can either push prayer, pray until something happens, or a prayer for that week if something very relevant is going to happen that week, or that something very relevant might happen that week. I gotta stop saying comment on that to remind me. No more ums. About to say it again. Dang. I need to stop that. Praying in tongues. It's important. Some people say that it's from the devil. It's not. Praying in tongues is so relevant. Being baptized in the Holy Spirit. Yeshua stressed that when he said, "It is finished," he wasn't talking about praying in tongues. Praying in tongues is like speaking in heavenese, as Rachel Birchfield puts it. It's speaking the language of heaven, and how amazing is that? For you to be filled with the Holy Spirit, you're fluent in a language that most everyone doesn't understand, except God. And if you're anointed with interpretation of tongues, which is nothing you can pray for, you can understand it too. So, make sure your prayer is intimate, make sure your prayer is worshipful. Yes, I suppose you can ask to be blessed with things, but that's not its intended purpose. So take this to heart. If it has impacted you, and if it hasn't impacted you, pray that it will, so you will take it to heart. I was watching this movie. It was called The List. It's a Christian movie. It wasn't that amazing, but at the end there was a quote from a lady in the story, and now that I think of it, this is relevant because the camera was zooming in on a Star of David in her window pane. But she said, the thing about prayer, that both people who do pray and people who don't both underestimate the power of it, or they underestimate the power of prayer. Something to that effect. It was really powerful. Actually, you should watch the movie. It's pretty good. It's about breaking holds off of your life that the devil has of you, and that's another thing you can pray for. That's another thing you can confess. It says, if it is bound on earth, it is loosed in heaven. If it is if it is bound on earth, it is bound in heaven. If it is loosed on earth, it is loosed in heaven. Sorry for that mishap there. So praying is awesome. Praying is necessary. Praying is relevant. Go pray now. Do it. Do it. Shalom. Oh, okay. P.S. Quick facts about prayer. Okay, that book I was reading earlier, the author, that rabbi, he had a friend who was a speech therapist for people who had strokes, and one of her patients was a Jewish man, and this just shows the heartfelt emotion among Jews in their prayers. Because you see, there's this left half of your brain which controls like voluntary actions. That's very broad, basic summary. And then there's your right brain, which controls more emotional, and you could even say habitual habits. And though this patient of hers couldn't talk, every morning, most mornings, he would still be able to say his prayers for the morning. And the cool thing about speaking in tongues is that it's the same thing. They did a test, and my resources are vague, I'm sorry, I don't know who they is, among prayers in tongues. And they found that all over the world, people who prayed in tongues, they weren't using that left half of their brain, they were using the right half of their brain, in a very small portion of it. Not as much as even the Jewish man who had been remembering the emotion of his prayers. And those are just cool things about praying that I thought you might enjoy, relevant to your walk in life. Shalom.